Good evening. Our local health region has released its budget numbers for the upcoming fiscal year. Prairie North Health Region is preparing to spend more than $260 million. That's an increase of $3.2 million from last year. A portion will go towards the Saskatchewan Surgical Initiative and to enhance seniors' care. The health region serves 96,000 people in northern Saskatchewan and Lloydminster. Well, according to recent national numbers, home sales have been on a steady decline over the last 5 months. But that doesn't seem to be the case for Lloydminster. Houses aren't staying on the market for long, and there's a heavy shortage in the area. That's one of the topics going to be discussed at a Canadian Real Estate Association meeting in the border city. Bart Padiasic reports.
You don't see many for sale signs on Lloydminster lawns these days, and one realtor explains that's because we're in the middle of a heavy seller's market.
I'd have to say, particularly Lloydminster, our market is, I haven't quite saw it like this for quite some time. We really are lacking MLS listings, so there's a very shortage of that, and hence we're driving up prices.
And those figures come at a time where sales are slowing down nationally. But Lloydminster says that doesn't reflect what's happening in the border city.
I think Lloydminster is right in the middle of two busy provinces that have lots of things going for them, not only in the resource sector but in agriculture, and all sectors of our provinces are running kind of full tilt.
Realtor managers from the region will be discussing that and other topics tonight. Representatives from Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba will be in town, along with local board members.
We're going to share ideas about how we can do things better as an association, try not to duplicate services. That has to do with education, personal development issues, and just new things that are happening in the real estate industry.
As well, Lloydminster says it's a chance to brag about our border city.
In a selfish way, we're showing off our city, which is great. That gives us a great opportunity to put us on the Western Canada map, or Canadian map, a little bit more.
Bart Padiasic, Newcap News.
The federal government has a plan to set up Canadian Armed Forces members who have left the military with businesses looking to fill job vacancies. The Lloydminster Fountain Tire is one of the first employers in the region that's voiced interest in signing up for the Hire a Vet program.
The program is meant to act as a matchmaker between veterans and employers. The federal Hire a Vet program encourages businesses to give priority to hire qualified Canadian vets.
We have a base at Wainwright, base in Edmonton, base at Cold Lake, and it's well within range of hiring people. The need and the need for the types of skills that people in the military have, which is very broad actually.
When Leon Benoit's office sent an email to local businesses to gauge support for the program, Lloydminster Fountain Tire was the first business to jump on board.
When that memo came across, obviously it's something that we want to look at real quick and hard at, and try and utilize that option if it becomes available.
About 4,000 to 5,000 people retire from the military every year at an average age of 37. Staniforth says he hopes some of those veterans will help address local labor shortages.
In this part of the country, you're always looking to fill some holes with good, reliable employees, and the last few years has definitely been tough on a lot of organizations.
The MP for Vegreville Wainwright was on hand last week to field questions about the Hire a Vet program. Leon Benoit says it won't solve the labor shortage, but it will help.
It will mean a lot of really good workers. People have a good work ethic. People are very disciplined workers. They will show up for work. They will do the job. I think it'll be a huge benefit for business around here.
Staniforth says Fountain Tire isn't necessarily looking for trained individuals, but ones with good work ethic.
They're all trained in some specific area, but have the knowledge and the ability to be re-taught many things. So I think it's really unlimited as far as positions, not just in our company, but in every company.
It's a dream many Canadian children have, being an astronaut and traveling to space. That dream for former four-wing fighter jet pilot was no different. As Clayton Brown explains, Major Jeremy Hansen is one of only 3 active astronauts. Hansen spoke at 4 Wing last night about how he turned his childhood dream into reality.
As a young child, Jeremy Hansen learned of Neil Armstrong setting foot on the moon. Ever since, he's been captivated with space and dreamed of one day making that trip himself.
And I grew up in a time when Canadians could fly in space. So for me, I knew it was possible. I didn't necessarily think it was probable, but I knew I wanted to do it, and I knew I would try.
As a teen, Hansen joined the Air Cadets, and by the age of 16, he earned his glider pilot license. In 2002, he earned his Canadian Air Force pilot wings and spent the next 7 years as a CF-18 pilot at Four-Wing Cold Lake.
How do you train someone to go to space? And so one of the ways is to use aviation. And flying the F-18 for me is very challenging. My decisions matter. If I don't prepare myself properly for a flight, when I come back here to fly the Hornet, I could wreck the airplane, I could kill myself.
Then, in 2009, Hansen and 5,000 others applied to the Canadian Space Agency. Over the course of a year, he went through the rigors of physical testing, interviews, and applications, and was finally selected as one of only 2 new Canadian astronauts.
The experience of being selected as an astronaut really was, I see it as being kind of in the right place at the right time, having been given certain skill sets by my experiences like Air Cadets and the military. And I know it's a privilege to get to fly to space on behalf of Canada.
Hansen was able to watch colleague Chris Hadfield take off for his mission live and says Hadfield has been a huge inspiration.
Chris's inspiration was that perspective and bringing other people along with him. And I just think that's so important. We learned a lot, not just Chris, but the Canadian Space Agency. We've learned a lot about how to share this experience.
Hansen is yet to reach space, but expects his opportunity within this decade. At Four-Wing Cold Lake, Clayton Brown, Newcap News.